4 billion years ago, the hellfire of the Hadean Eon began to fade. The surface cooled, the magma hardened, and then the sky opened up. It rained, not for a week, not for a year, but for millions of years relentlessly. This was the Great Deluge. Water condensed from the atmosphere, drowning the young planet. Welcome to the Archean Earth, a true water world. If you were here, you wouldn't recognize your home. No continents, just an endless global ocean. Look up, the sky isn't blue. It is a hazy, toxic orange. The air is filled with methane and carbon dioxide. One breath here would kill you instantly. And dominating the night was the moon, much closer, much more terrifying. Because it was so close, the moon's gravity ripped at our oceans, creating tides thousands of feet high. The Earth was spinning faster too. A day lasted only 10 to 12 hours. Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. The planet was in a chaotic, dizzying dance. But beneath this violence, something silent was happening. Magma pushed up from the mantle, creating the first solid ground, the Cratons. These were not continents yet, just tiny, barren islands defying the endless sea. Imagine standing there, silence, wind, rock, a world waiting to be born. But the surface was too hostile. If life was to start, it had to hide. Deep in the crushing darkness, we find the hydrothermal vents, the chemical factories of the deep. Here, heat from the core met the cold ocean, a perfect recipe for chemistry. In this chaotic soup, dead atoms began to combine. They created patterns. Amino acids, the building blocks of life, assembling themselves by chance or by destiny. Then a tiny bubble formed, a membrane, separating inside from outside. And then it happened, a spark, the first heartbeat of the planet. We call it LUCA, the last universal common ancestor. It learned the ultimate trick, how to copy itself. Life had begun. For 1 billion years, they were the only citizens of Earth, drifting, eating chemicals, surviving. But energy from the deep was limited. Some bacteria looked up towards a new power source. The sun, infinite energy, waiting to be harnessed. Enter the Cyanobacteria, the tiny architects that would change the world forever. They invented photosynthesis, and their waste product was a gas called oxygen. 3.5 billion years ago, along the shorelines, strange structures began to rise. They looked like rocks, but they were alive. These are Stromatolites. Built layer by layer, grain of sand by grain of sand, by colonies of cyanobacteria. These bacteria possessed a technology that would change the universe, photosynthesis. They didn't hunt for food, they made it, using just water, air, and sunlight. This was the first solar energy revolution, and it was incredibly successful. But every industry has waste. For cyanobacteria, the waste product was a gas ... oxygen. Back then, the oceans were filled with dissolved iron. They were green, not blue. When oxygen met iron, a war began. They reacted instantly to form rust. The seas turned blood red. The earth was literally rusting from the inside out. For millions of years, this red rust rained down to the ocean floor. Layer upon layer, creating the banded iron formations we see today. We mine this ancient rust today. The steel in your car, it comes from the Archean Ocean. It was the planet's way of scrubbing the oxygen, keeping the poison locked away. But the bacteria didn't stop. They kept pumping out oxygen, more and more. Eventually, the iron ran out. The oceans couldn't absorb any more oxygen. The sponge was full. Oxygen began to escape into the atmosphere. The sky began to change. The protective methane haze was under attack. Oxygen reacts with methane. It destroys it. And methane was what kept the earth warm. By cleaning the air, life was accidentally turning down the thermostat. It got cold, very cold. The creators of this new world were about to face their own consequences. Oxygen was toxic to most ancient life. This was the first mass extinction. A crisis was building up, the Great Oxidation Event. The greenhouse collapsed. The ice began to march from the poles. The Huronian glaciation, the longest ice age in history, was approaching. Life had conquered the planet, but could it survive the freezer? The Archean Eon was ending. The warm water world was becoming a snowball. 2.5 billion years ago, the curtain falls on the Archean. But in the ice, the spark remained. The Archean Eon ended 2.5 billion years ago, but it never really left us. Go to Australia, Canada, or South Africa. Touch the bedrock. You are touching the Archean. And look at your jewelry. Most of the world's gold deposits were formed during this time. Volcanic heat and water concentrated the gold into veins, waiting billions of years for us to find. The stable continents we build our civilizations on, they are the Cratons born in the Archean. But the greatest legacy is you. Life learned to survive. From a simple soup, life evolved into complex machinery, ready to face the next challenge. The biggest change was the sky. The orange haze was gone. The blue sky was born. It looks beautiful to us, but for the microbes of that time, this blue sky was a sign of doom. The Great Oxidation Event. To survive, life had to hide in the mud or devolve. But the price of a blue sky was high. The planet was losing its heat. Without methane to keep it warm, Earth plunged into a deep freeze. Glaciers kilometers high marched across the continents, grinding rock into dust. The Huronian glaciation. It lasted for 300 million years. The tropical paradise of the Archean was gone, replaced by a frozen wasteland. Some call it the Snowball Earth, a dead, white marble in the black void. Did life die out? Did the experiment fail? No, life is stubborn. Deep under the ice, near volcanic heat, it held on. And in this freezing pressure, something incredible happened. Cells started working together. A new type of cell was coming. Complex, powerful. The eukaryotes. The ice will melt, and what emerges from the thaw will be unlike anything before. Join us for the next chapter, the Proterozoic Eon, where single cells become complex animals, and the atmosphere becomes breathable. From a hell of fire to a world of water, and finally to a prison of ice, Earth has survived it all. And thanks to those struggles, we are here today. If you enjoyed this journey through the Archean, please hit that subscribe button. What do you think was more terrifying, the lava of Hadean or the toxic ocean of Archean? Let me know in the comments. Watch the previous episode here if you missed it. I'm From Stardust to Life. Keep exploring.